Good morning, fellow hobby machinists. It's Olin Niemak coming to you from my little shop in southern New Hampshire. Today, I am talking about my little Machine Shop 5100 mini lathe and the carriage lock modification I built. I bought a carriage lock from LMS when I purchased the lathe from them, but after using it a while, found several things I didn't like about the design. Most of my issues with the LMS lock comes from the fact that it locates on the spindle side of the carriage. Since much of my work is small, I'm working close to the chuck. The LMS lock has a good size handle on it, which often interfered with the chuck. Also, you had to shut off the spindle anytime you wanted to engage or disengage the lock, otherwise you risk getting injured. One last thing is the LMS design prevented bringing the carriage in as close to the chuck when I had a larger part because the chuck jaws would hit the carriage lock. So I went looking for alternatives, with the main criteria being that it locate on the tailstock side of the carriage. I did some Google and YouTube searches, and I also solicited ideas from a couple of the Facebook hobby machinist groups I belong to. And I came up with several good options. After weighing out the pros and cons of each design, as well as factoring personal preferences, I came up with what you'll see in the video. Having a bench mill certainly influenced my choice, since it allowed me to modify the carriage and custom fit the clamp on my lathe. An FYI here, some mini lathes do not have the cutout section on the tailstock side of the carriage, which would have made life a lot easier, but you make do with what you got. I have included my sketches for the clamp in case you might want to try it for yourself. One last thing, if you would be so kind, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I can use the encouragement and the feedback. Let's get going. Here's the carriage off my lathe. I've got it set up in the mill, and I'm going to mill the pocket so that it can get cleaned up. It's just a rough casting. Yeah, I did that. Pretty embarrassing, I'd say. The cutter dug into the far corner of the carriage in the back. Fortunately, no big deal. I was able to clean it up with a file, and it'll be out of sight. Won't hurt the performance. Next, I'm going to make the carriage clamping block. Here's the clamp block for the carriage, and I have to cut some stock. Character building. I put the piece of stock in the mill vise, I squared it up, milled the features, drilled and tapped the clamping hole. After that I made the piece that went onto the carriage. Didn't video that piece, but after that was done I used some Brownell's Oxbow Blue to treat and finish the pieces. Then after that I took the part that mounts to the carriage and lined up and did the steps to drill and tap the holes to mount it to the carriage. So here's the final product mounted on the lathe. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. The clamp does its job perfectly. It holds the carriage rock solid and allows me to make precise cuts, whether I'm facing, cutting a taper, or using a cutoff tool. I've included the sketches again, so if you want to do a screenshot and copy them, I hope you might find it beneficial. Thanks for watching. I hope I shared something worthwhile that you can use in your shop. And again, if you would be so kind, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and even subscribe to my channel, because I sure can use the encouragement and feedback. Thanks.